Okay, good afternoon. So I'm going to review scientific notation. If you think you're comfortable with scientific notation, don't feel like you have to watch this video. You can go ahead and just try the Math Excel, but this will be just kind of a quick refresher. Um, so let me back up here. Okay, so what is scientific notation? So scientific notation, your number can have one digit in front of the decimal point. So if I'm going to take this number here, I would write it as 1.755. Okay, so I move the decimal point after the first digit. Um, Now, how many places did I move that over? Well, if I start at the end here, I moved it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so times 10 to the 10th. Okay, so um, anytime you multiply by 10, you're moving the decimal point over one full place. Okay, so if I were to multiply that by 10 times, then I move the decimal point over two places. So this number here is that first number, which I believe is 17,550,000,000 in scientific notation. So that's the scientific notation of that. Okay. Now that's how you're supposed to. It's a good way to write really big numbers, but it's also a good way to write really small numbers. So this is a really small number here. Okay, but remember what I said about writing in scientific notation. The decimal point has to come after the first digit. So I'm putting the decimal point after that. So to get to this, um, starting at a 6.0, um, to make you're dividing by 10 each time, so you're moving the decimal point in the opposite direction to the left. Okay, so this is going to be times 10 to the negative, and we're going to figure out exactly what negative number it would be. So we got to count how many places we moved the decimal point. Excuse me. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so to get that decimal point after the 6, we're moving it 11 spaces. Okay, so we would get negative 11 as our exponent. Okay, so if we were to go the opposite direction, we would move it expand. Well, I'll get to that in the next page here. Okay, so both of those have been changed from what's called expanded form to scientific notation. Now we're going to take a look at going from scientific notation to expanded form. Okay, so if we're starting at 3.46, okay, we're multiplying by 10, 11 times. And each time we multiply by 10, we move the decimal point over 10 places. Okay. The biggest mistake people make is they add. So if the exponent's 11, they'll add 11 zeros, which is not correct. It can be sometimes, but not always. Multiply by 10, 11 times. Do it once, moves our decimal point from there to there. Twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so notice that's not 11 zeros. It's the decimal point going over 11 places. We'll fill in these gaps to see how many zeros we have. Okay, so that would be 346 billion is what that number would be. So 3.46 times 10 to the 11th is the same as 346 billion. Okay, now this is multiplying by 10, 11 times. And when we have small numbers, we're dividing by 10. So this would be dividing by 10, 7 times. Okay, so let me back up here. Okay, so we're going to start with this 5.1. Okay. And keep in mind the decimal point is starting between the 5 and the 1, but we're dividing by 10 7 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, notice again, I did not add 7 zeros. I moved the decimal point over 7 places. Okay, so the decimal point goes there, and we'll have one decimal point in front of the 0. Okay, so that would be, and our decimal point here is gone. We moved it to the up to the left. Okay, so that's expanded form of 5.1 times 10 to the negative 7. Okay, so let's so first of all, determine whether or not the given number is written in scientific notation. If it is not written as such, write it as such. So this is not scientific notation because scientific notation has one whole number to the left of the decimal point. This does not have any. Okay, so we want to write that in scientific notation. It's going to be one of these 4 answers here. Okay, so first of all, we got to figure out how many decimal points I moved over. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we moved over 5 places. Okay, so we moved it over 5 places to get just after the 2. So times 10 to the negative 5. In other words, if I were to multiply 2 times 10, divide by 10 5 times, that would move our decimal point over to the left to get it back where we started from. So that small number is going to have, numbers less than 1 are going to have negative exponents in scientific notation. So 2 times 10 to the negative 5, and that would give us B as our solution here. Okay, a couple more quick examples. I'm going to show you multiplying and dividing when scientific notation is involved. So multiplying 2 times 10 to the 5th times 3 times 10 to the 3rd, multiply your whole numbers, your 2 times our 3, we get 6. And then 10 to the 5th times 10 to the 3rd, remember, we add those exponents, give us 10 to the 8th power. Okay, one more, we'll just with division, and then you guys can get going. Okay, so that's 6 divided by 3 is equal to 2 times 10 to the, remember, we're doing 10 to the 3rd minus 10 to the negative 4. So 10 to the 3rd minus 10 to the negative 4. Okay, so that's like minus and negative would be like adding. So that'd be 2 times 10 to the 7th power. Okay. All right. If you have any questions, just let me know and I will be available to answer them in class. Good luck.